Now we are recording. There we go. There we go. All right. What's up, Frankie? Good to see you. Good to see you. Jerry, how we doing? How we doing? Paul, what is up? What is up? Good to see you guys. So this information that we're going to go over tonight is going to be absolutely and utterly critical. So critical, in fact, that we are going to break it up into pretty much two webinars. Tonight we're going to end with some action steps for everybody. Okay. And we're going to end with letting you guys know about the next webinar that we're having, which is going to be on Monday. So I'm going to actually pop into an account real quick, into a Karbon account, so I can have that loaded up and ready to go while you guys are still piling on. I still see more folks coming on here. And I'm going to need your help getting this information out to everybody because it changes the face of what we do at Karbon, right? We're moving into a new era. This is going to be Karbon 2.0. Let's go ahead and hop in here. Boom. Okay. So I've got an account queued up. Now, let's pop onto the screen, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys and talk about what we're going to be going over. All right. Let me know when you can see my screen. You got me? Let me know. Let me know. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Gotcha. Cool. So here's what we're going to get into tonight. Okay. We're going to talk about a couple things. One, we're going to talk about, and again, to back up, I'm really excited about this. I'm going to try to slow things down, but I do have a lot of information to go through tonight with you guys. The conditions of the market, what's happening with Karbon, and we're updating everything inside of Karbon. And it's going to be a whole new platform by the end of this, okay? And this is going to bleed on over. Everything I'm about to talk to you about is going to bleed on over from now up until Monday, where we're going to have a kickoff, another call, all right, where we're going to go through some more information and go through all the updates that were made throughout the weekend for everybody, because again, this is a whole new beast we're about to unroll here, okay? So if that sounds cool, let me know in the chat, and we shall kick this bad boy off. This is what we're going to be covering. All right. We're going to be covering market conditions. All right. And I'm going to go through this a little bit. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but we're going to go through market conditions, Karbon Pro. Okay. And then we're going to get into Elite. I got some updates for you. I want to talk with you a little bit about the end game in this whole thing. Okay. And then what is next to do. Now, first off, market conditions. All right. Everybody knows this. I'm not surprising you with this. Bitcoin just from March 29th alone, right, has dropped 58%, right? It hit a low of 58%, 19,800, right? It's been a bloodbath out there, and it's changed the face of crypto a little bit. Or has it? Talk about that. But this is kind of some of the negative stuff that's been going on and the things that you experience whenever you're in these kind of drawdowns. Now, for those of you who were in any of the other crashes before, the 2016 crashes, 2018 crashes, every couple of years we have these kinds of scenarios. If you've lived through that, give me a yes in the chat if that's you, because we are in that similar situation, right? And there is always light at the end of the tunnel, because after a crash, what comes next, right? Bull runs, okay? So here's where we are, though. We had, earlier, this year, a couple months ago, we had the Luna crash. Not even 2 months ago, we had the Luna crash. Moved so fast. $200 billion left the space. We've had Coinbase lay off 18% of their workforce on Tuesday, right? Laying off 18% of their workforce because of the crash that happened. MicroStrategy stocks went down 20% daily, right? It's crazy. And then you had $1.25 billion liquidations in literally a 48-hour period. Pretty doom and gloom. To top it all off, though, the crisis at Celsius, for those of you who don't know, has had a big impact on DeFi. Well, Celsius, if you don't know, is an exchange. They have 1.7 million customers, and they had to halt withdrawals of over $500 million, right? That's $536 million that were locked. That's locked in a platform that people can't withdraw. And if Bitcoin goes to 14K, that money gets liquidated. So pretty bad, huh? Pretty doom and gloom. The reason why I wanted to show this stuff, right, on this webinar, which, you probably shouldn't be hopping on webinars and showing negative things, but I want you guys to understand that there's one thing that all of the folks outside of this have in common, and that's they don't have this system. They don't have this group of people running the show, and they don't have our members, right? Karbon is a totally different beast. We're a totally different animal in what we do, right? We are taking profits from the company and funneling them back down into the members' pockets. There's nobody outside of crypto doing this. None of those other companies. Coinbase isn't going to do that for you. You're not going to have Celsius doing that. No one's going to do that. But this is a different environment. This is a totally different ballgame from anything that we have out there. And what we're going to do is take this time to make everything just better. Okay. But this is what I think is happening. Okay. This is what I think is happening right here. We have the market cycle that is playing out. And what is that market cycle? That's this right here. People have hope, they have optimism, they have belief, they have euphoria as the markets go up. It crashes, you have complacency, then you have anxiety, denial, and panic. Where do you guys think we are on this market cycle? Let me know. Pop in the chat, let me know. Where do you guys think we are in this market cycle? Are we at hope, optimism, belief, euphoria, complacency, anxiety, denial, or possibly could it be panic, right? So when these things happen and the markets crash and they get low and everything looks like, oh, it's horrible and I want to just leave, this is when you should get the most excited, right? If you're stuck in trades, you know what happens after this. Things go back up, right? If you're at the top, you never want to be buying and you never want to be selling at the bottom. And we got some folks saying denial. Yeah, we might not be at panic yet, right? We might be at denial. Maybe we are. Maybe we're right here and we have to come down and before we can go back up. But this is the traditional market cycle. So this is from a 10,000 foot view, what is happening out there in the markets, right? We're going through this market cycle. And at the end of it comes hope, optimism, belief, euphoria, right? Back into a bull run. And that's where we will inevitably go. That's where we will go, okay? I'll get this out to you guys if you guys want this, okay? If you guys want this graphic. So this is where we are. Now with Karbon, we've had to make a lot of changes, right? That's the market conditions, right? But in Karbon, we have to make a lot of changes. We need to pivot, we need to move, we need to make changes based off of what is happening out there and what is happening internally in the system, right? If you don't learn from your mistakes or if you don't learn and improve, then you're just slowly dying. Would you guys believe that? Would you guys agree with that? If you're not changing and getting better, then your company, your system, everything is going to be slowly dying. So what we've done up until now, those of you who know this, we've been operating off of our money B indicators, right? Our money B strategy. And that strategy is designed to have a very excessively high win rate, right? It's designed to have a very high win rate. But what we're doing now is we're shifting our focus onto a strategy that is a trend indicator. Now, you guys might have been on webinars before where I talked about this, where I talked about the MA3 and the MA4 indicators. Who here has heard of those? You might have seen me talk about them on an elite webinar, right? Where I talked about the MA3 and the MA4 indicators. Our elite members, for those of you who are in elite, give me a 1 because you guys made this possible. So here's what we did, guys. We went ahead and said, look, collectively on the elite webinars, we said, look, we need to go ahead and be able to protect the entire group with what we have inside of the elite side, as far as the indicators that we have and the money management that we have our hands on. Okay. And we took a vote, and together as a group, we said, this is the direction we want to go. We want to go ahead and make sure that everybody, okay, can use these kinds of indicators inside of Karbon. So this is what we're doing. We're taking the money B indicator, the strategy that we've been using up until this point, and we are essentially, we're not going to use it anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to use the MA3 indicators across the board for everybody, okay? Because inside of Karbon Pro, which all of you will have access to and be, you need to have that security and that safety. You see, we have a problem. Inside of Karbon right now, we have elite members, we have VIP members, okay? And then there's this other level that we talk about when we say the academy, but we don't label it and call it what it is and what is defined in that program. Would you guys agree? Yes or no? It's like, I feel like I'm in limbo, Kev. If you feel like you're in limbo, let me know, right? Let me know. So what we want to do, what we're doing is we're calling the system Karbon Pro. Right? If you're in here inside of Karbon and you have access to the Karbon Assisted Auto Trader, the Academy, then you have access to the Karbon Pro level. So what we're doing is we're rolling out the MA3 indicator for everybody. Let me show you a little bit of what this looks like. And before I do that, what that MA3 indicator looks like, I just want to say that those of you who have been an elite, I just want to say thank you, because you've been configuring these currency pairs. If you've configured currency pairs and sent them in, just put me in the chat real quick. Just put me in the chat, because you are the saving grace of Karbon. It's all about you, what you've done. Adam, Riker, CJ, Damon, Jason, Mark, God, what you're about to do to help everybody. The amount of effort and energy and time you put in, you will be rewarded for this. However, I just want to say thank you, because guys, these indicators that I'm about to show you, like this right here, all right, going into, this is a money B, going into, let's say this indicator right here. Okay, this is an MA3 indicator. This wasn't configured by me. This was configured by one of our members, guys. You can't see? Boom, can you see now? This was configured by one of our members. And this indicator operates totally different from what the Money B indicator operates as. If I go back to the Money B indicator, this is one of them. All right, we got 100% win rate. But what we're doing is it's a trend reversal indicator. When things go too high, it takes a short. When things go too low, it takes a long. And that's great until you have a catastrophic crash like what we've experienced. You guys have experienced this, right? So what we've done is inside of Elite, our members have their hands on two indicators, an MA3 and an MA4. We've taken the MA3 and they've configured them. Our members have configured them, freaking rock stars, to the point where they're doing stuff like this. Now, these are indicators that are designed to take a loss. They have stop losses built into them, so you don't get stuck and sit in a trade. Scale of 1 through 10, just that statement alone, you don't get stuck in trades. You take a loss when it goes bad. How good does that sound to your ears right now, right? And they take trades based off of the trend of the market. So if the market's going up, they take a trade going up. Market's going down, they take a trade going down, okay? And they have built-in stop losses. That's what we're moving on over to. That's the MA3 indicator. And our elite members, again, I just cannot express to you guys how thankful I am, because what you've done is you've went out and configured these pairs to the point where the members that haven't been involved in that and haven't had to do that will benefit greatly, right? Look at all these trades right here. This is a Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin only has a 91% win rate, which means it takes losses, right? Profit factor of 4.6, and it's taking shorts the entire way down. Look at that, short, 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 as this is moving. Let's see what other ones we got here. Ethereum, this was configured, again, not by me. It's taking shorts as this market is going down, okay? And who here has been trading on these? If you've been trading on them, do you want any trades? Let me know. Pop in the chat and let me know, just so everyone can see. I saw somebody pop in there and say, hey, I was testing it and won some trades. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2 trades, 5 today. 5 trades today, Craig. Hey, come on. Oh, Matthew. That was Matthew. Good job, dude. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah. Okay. Brett says, I like to know how to configure it. You're going to get that answer. You're going to get that answer. So this is what we're doing, right? This is what we've got going on. These indicators. So these are going to come on into the entirety of Karbon, all right? So what does that mean, all right? That means that we're going to take the Karbon Academy. Let me go on in here, okay? Pop on the Academy. I'm going to show you what changes are going to be happening, all right? Inside of the Academy, this is the Academy, right? You guys are all familiar with this. Right now, we have a getting started, a setting up the bot, connecting the bot, what's next, some of my trades beyond the bot. This whole thing before Monday, so you're going to start seeing this disappear. All this content is going to disappear, and you're going to start seeing new training being populated in here. This will be done 100% before our Monday call. All of these videos will be redone, and it'll be a whole totally different academy. Okay. All right. And you will have the configurations that we're using, the recommended configurations for the MA3 indicators. All right. First off, let me know if that makes sense. And again, I'm going to put an abridged version of this, and it's going to go out to everybody. All right. To make sure. Okay. So the indicators that you're firing off trades right now, my recommendation, stop them. Just go in there and pause them or delete those alerts. Why? Because we're going to be loading in the MA3 indicators, okay? And everyone's going to have access to that, okay? Should we update B for money for the call and training? Yeah, you can go ahead and pause all your money B indicators unless you don't want to, okay? Okay. Yeah, Twan says, do you want a 100% on the MA3 ND, for example, for 45 closed trades, 98? Yeah, toss it on in, buddy. Toss it on in. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Twan's like, hey, do you want an example of a cool one? Yeah, send it on in, man. Toss it on in. Because I'll tell you what, let me go on to one of the charts from one of our members that's sent in here, okay, on MA3, and I'll go open up one right now. All right, this is an example. So here is CBK, 100% win rate. Now, again, these are signals designed to take trades, or take losses, guys. But sometimes you do have configurations where they come up 100%. Okay. All right. Could we still use MA2 indicators as another? Absolutely, Dustin. You can do whatever you want. Okay. So this is what we're doing. All right. Now I want to get into, and if you got any charts you guys want to toss on in here, let me know. Toss them in, and I'll pull them up on the screen. Okay. And you guys can take a look. So this is what we're doing with Karbon Pro. All right. This is what we're up to with Karbon Pro. Now, with Karbon Pro, obviously this is everything that you get, right? This is what we're up to. But it's gonna get a little bit better now. Let me pop on in and pull up my slides again so I can get back in here. Boom. So that's gonna be Karbon Pro, and I'll give you guys some quick bullet points on this. Again, we will be doing a webinar on Monday on this, and you will be getting the abridged version. All right, so Karbon Pro, in a nutshell, guys, this is an upgrade to the entire system, the entire platform. The MA3 indicators will be, the MA3 indicator will be loaded for everybody onto your TradingView account. So our team's going to go in there, and they're going to give you access to them in TradingView. Okay, that'll start happening. The academy will be dismantled, and a new academy will be loaded. And here's the kicker. All right, are we clear on this part right here? MA3 indicators will be loaded on everybody's indicators. All right, everyone's TradingView account. You need them there, obviously, right? If you're going to trade on them. And the academy is going to be dismantled, and a whole new academy will be loaded for this. All right, for everyone on this call. Absolutely, Danny. Everybody on this call. This is an upgrade that we're doing for everyone in the entire system. Okay. This is what's going on. We're dismantling the academy, and a new one will be loaded into the system, and we'll go from there. And here's the cool part. Now, for those of you who like kind of advanced stuff, you like money management stuff, all right, let me show you something, okay? Our money management system has been massively upgraded, okay? It's been massively upgraded. Chad says, when are you going to sleep? I think you're probably saying that because we were on a webinar the other day and I hadn't slept in like 2 days, and we were just, because it's exciting, right? It's exciting. I know we're in a crash, guys. I know that the markets have crashed, and it's, you know, you get stuck in trades and all this stuff. But whenever these things happen, what else do we have? We have massive, massive, massive opportunity, right? Massive opportunity. And you cannot sleep on it. You cannot waste that opportunity, especially when we have this community. We have to go ahead and make these changes, right? So that's where we are. All right, money management. We've had some some massive upgrades made to the money management system, and I want to show you what that is. All right, so you guys can get an idea for this. Now, you guys know the process of creating an alert, right? The process of creating an alert, you go in and you go into an account and you go to the configure tab, right? And you have a very specific link that you use and a message body that you use, right? Now, let me pop in here. Let me go into my demo right here, and let's share. All right, let this load, and I'll share my screen. So what we had to do on our end, okay, what we had to do is this right here. So this is me just testing stuff, right? What we've had to do is we've had to create a new message body. So for those of you who have been using the auto trader, and especially at MA3, are there times when you want to open and close trades based off of the signal that comes from TradingView itself? Yes or no? Like you want to open it when TradingView says so, and you want to close it when TradingView says so. There has been a very big problem with that. And that is Karbon would never know which trade is which. It would know, oh, open a trade is fine. But if you had two Ethereums firing off, it doesn't know if the second one wants to close it or not. So it closes it. It doesn't know which actual alert sent on over a trade. So what we've done is on every one of our alerts that we set up and that you set up going forward, what you're going to want to do is two different things. One, you're going to want to obviously use your callback URL, okay? The callback URL that's sitting right here. And then number two, right, it's blurred out, we have a message body right here, right? You guys are all familiar with this. Give me a yes if you've created an alert, you've used the callback URL, you've used the message body, right? Let me know. So here's what you're going to do though. Every alert that you set up, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and click this copy button. And when I do, what's going to happen is this number is going to change. So if I go, I'm setting up an alert for, for BTC on the 5-minute chart, I would click copy and I would use that message body. And then when I set up another alert on anything else, I would come back in here and copy, and I would use that one. I'm copying this to my clipboard. And as you can see, every time I click copy, what's happening is we're getting a new separate message body. Why are we doing that? Every time I copy it, every time I click it, it's randomized, right? You see what's happening there? So what that does is, and this is a crazy update we made, it gives the ability of Karbon to know exactly on a trade by trade and alert by alert level what trade was firing off, right? What trade was firing off. So what that gives us the ability to do now is load in more indicators, more trades, because if I come into just one of the spreadsheets that we have from our members, okay, let me pull one down real quick. All right, take a look at this. Okay, this is from Adam. Adam, if you're on the call, man, love you, bro. Love you. I can go ahead and see all these win rates on the MA3 and the MA4 indicators. MA3 is going to everyone in pro. MA4 would just be the elite. MA3 indicators, I can see that this is a 97% win rate on Sol. And I can configure this multiple Solanos to fire off. And I'm tracking it on a trade by trade level. Okay. This is what we've been working on. It's been kind of nuts to get this done. There's no other system. I don't think there's another system that has it. Okay. And again, here's another set of indicators. This is from Tuan. Hashtag guys, Tuan for the win. I mean, look at this. MA3 all day long. Look at all these indicators that he set up. Okay. And he's got some of them inevitably that will be multiple times. Okay. And so if I go and I click on these, look at this. Look at this. This is just insanity. This should not be. This is a 100% win rate, right? But the way that this is based off, and it's not designed to be 100% winner. It's just wants to crack it. The thing is, the take profit on this is fixed. It's 1%, but stop loss is variable. It changes based off of the indicator, right? Depending on what trade you get into, that stop loss moves, it changes. So making this a reality where we can track off of every single trade, you can now open and close trades by waiting for a signal from TradingView, okay? Or you can close it with money management, advanced money management. But the opportunity that this gives us to do both of these and track it on a trade by trade level is something that has not been done. So for those of you who are like, hey, I don't understand all this stuff, I don't get all this stuff, it's okay, right? There'll be an entire academy that I'm loading back in there that'll walk you through exactly what it means. You know, you really go through at your own pace, bite-sized videos, okay? But for those of you who do get this, right? For those of you who do get this, scale of 1 through 100, how big of a game changer is this? That we're tracking trades, just so everyone else can know, on a granular trade by trade level, and no one trade can close another one on an accident, so on and so forth. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. So this changes the game for us. And some of you might not understand what that means, and that's fine. You don't have to. Just understand that we've been working really hard to make this a unique platform that does things that just doesn't happen. Trades will indeed close faster, right? And they'll close more accurately. Okay. Adam said 90% because I know you guys are going to come up with some more nutty stuff. Well, let's talk about some more nutty stuff. Let's talk about some more nutty stuff. Okay. So how are we doing so far? How are we doing so far? We're 30 minutes in. I'm trying to make this fast, but there's just so much I want to talk about. Okay. As you guys, I think you guys can see we've been pretty busy. All right. I've been kind of busy. So here's what's going to happen. All right. With Karbon Pro and getting access to those indicators, this is what's going to go down. You're going to have, again, just to recap, you're going to have the MA3 loaded into your TradingView accounts. Okay. But you're going to need to do a couple things. You're going to need to edit. You're going to have to edit your Bybit API keys. Okay. And we'll have a video on how to do that that's coming out. You'll have to edit your Bybit API keys with our IP address string. What does that mean? All right. Well, I'll show you what that means. When we set all this up and we do configurations, there is an API string right here. Okay. This is a unique string for our system that makes sure that the trades are coming through the right IP address so that nobody can just fire trades off into your account, right? It has to come from those APIs. Oh, there we go. And on top of that, it makes things faster because we're firing off from multiple IP addresses into your Bybit accounts. Now, you'll have to edit your API keys to have this IP address in it. And we'll have a video, okay, that walks you through, a bite-sized video that walks you through how to do that, okay? On top of that, every alert that you fire off needs to use the current callback URL for that account inside of the back office. So if I click show, you're going to see a callback URL. Now this is the same, every account has a unique callback URL. You're going to have to use that on your alerts as well. What that does is, again, this is yet another upgrade that does two things. One, it doubles the speed with which we can communicate with Bybit. Okay, it's doubling the speed with which we communicate with them. So we're migrating on over to that system. So this is what you need to do. All your alerts will have to have this callback URL, and your API keys will have to be updated with the IP addresses right here. This string, the whole thing, these numbers, what I'm highlighting right here. Okay. So that is what is going to be needed. And again, I'm going to have an abridged version of this where you can see kind of bite size what to do, and I'll give you the shortened the step by step Hey, just click here, do this, click here, do that. So that's coming as well. Okay, we'll have that out tonight. All right. So you're gonna have to edit those API keys with your IP address string so that we can go ahead and make sure trades are firing off. You're gonna have to use a callback URL, right? The new callback URL in all your alerts. All right. And again, I'm going to say this 100 times. Every MA3 alert, every alert that you put into the system needs to have its own unique message body by clicking that copy button. Okay. Okay. So there's that. Next thing I want to talk about right here is just to reiterate this. All right. And I'm going to leave this up here. You guys can snapshot this if you need to. If you have previously paid for a setup, right, then once you've edited your API keys, right, our team will add the MA3 indicators to your TradingView account, all right, and they'll set up your alerts if you have previously paid for that service. Who's here on here that's done that, the done for you service? Yeah. So it's just going to get handled for you, but you have to update your API keys before we can do that, before we can let them know. If you've updated your API keys and you've previously paid for that service, then go ahead and you can email support, right? And they can handle it for you. Okay, they'll go into your TradingView account, they'll take care of it. Okay. And they'll be able to communicate back and forth. Okay. So again, I mean, the folks who paid for this, I think it was like a couple $100 to pay for that service. And this is like the second time we've probably gone into some accounts to edit them. So I just want you guys to understand that, right? We're not charging to go redo that. We're just doing it. Does that make sense? So it's kind of crazy. I hope you guys can appreciate that. Like when we do these kind of things and we have a human go in and redo all your alerts and take all of that time, those are all costs involved. And we've never recharged anybody for it, right? We've never recharged them. Why wouldn't we recharge anybody for it? Because we're here to serve our community. This is what we're here for. This is what we do. We're not like everybody else outside the system, right? Integrity, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Sometimes in the past we fell short of that excellence in all we do, right? We make mistakes, we're human, but we'll always operate with those core values. So this is it. Now, if you want our team to set this up for you, right? You're like, look, I'd just rather have you guys do it. I've never paid for that service. Then you can email support. They have a payment page. They can contact you, go back and forth. Okay. But we are outlaying the cost to redo literally thousands of accounts inside the system to make sure that everyone can get migrated on over. We're just eating those costs. Okay. I just want to let you guys know where that comes from and why we do these things. Okay. Quickly, I want to do an elite update, my peeps. For my elite peeps, I know you guys probably hear from me too much, but real quick update. I mean, we will be having webinars next week in Elite and in Karbon as well. In the pro side and in the elite side, we will be having a webinar. Monday webinar will be everybody, right? And then we'll have probably a Tuesday webinar for our elite members. And the stuff I want to talk about is stuff like this. So if you've missed out on the elite stuff and you haven't been involved in that, we've been talking quite heavily about auto trading, right? Where are my elite peeps? Pop in there, let me know. If you're elite, let me know. Just go ahead and let me see you. Man, they're in full force, huh? Look at them, you beautiful. All right. So it's good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Sorry you have to listen to me all the time. So what's going to happen? We talked about this and we had a vote. We had two webinars, right? One, we had a vote on the MA3 indicator to bring to everybody. I brought them those plans, said, hey, this is what I want to do. And they were like, let's go, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get, people need it, which is freaking crazy. And so I love you guys. Number one, I mean, and then what ended up happening next was we talked about what we were going to do with the auto trading, because we have some auto trading options, right? Inside of Elite, there's two auto traders that are going to be firing off. One is following my partners who takes manual trades, right? But then another one is an algorithm that I've been working back and forth with the German team, a friend of mine, and Alex has been crushing. And we worked on some indicators together, some scripts together. And here's the thing: These trades you see here are from Alex. He's been running tests. Okay. And there's still some kinks to work out for it. I told you guys how to get it up to you as fast as possible on the last call. But Alex and his team can do something that I can't, can do something that we can't inside the elite section. They can have auto trades firing off, right? And they can adjust scripts on the fly. Imagine we're operating on like, a couple, we have the MA3 indicators, and let's say we had 20 indicators, 20 different trades firing off, 20 different indicators going. The difference between us and them and what they can do is they have a team that does nothing but tweaks those all the time and then updates them. Makes some tweaks to them depending on where the market conditions are and updates them. And so those can fire off and they can make those changes and it fires off in real time. That's the difference. They have a team to be able to do that, right? So working with them is amazing. Obviously, there's costs involved to this, right? Am I frozen, guys? Let me know if I'm frozen. If you can hear me. No, I'm good. Okay, someone's like, you're frozen. Okay. So they have a team that can do that, right? We don't have a team to do. I mean, it's just so much work that they're willing to put in. But we built those indicators, right? It wasn't just Kevin Hokawan's indicators. We went back and forth and made tweaks and changes to them and all that kind of stuff. They come up with new ones. We bounce ideas off. It's really cool. It's a really fun thing to do. And they've got the manpower to monitor those things 24/7 and make changes, upgrades, do these things. Really, really cool stuff. And that trader is being added into the elite section. So we're going to have a lot of conversations next week, guys. If you're an elite, we're going to hop on and go through some stuff. Obviously, if you join elite, what you're getting access to is a whole new elite trader. It's got 2 auto trades that are in there, right? And then you can get 2 more tacked on trades in the pro section where you can just add 2 more trading systems. So you can test stuff out, run some stuff, do whatever you want to do. And yeah, next week's going to be a lot of fun. So this is some of the stuff we're going to be looking at inside of Elite. And we'll be talking about this next week. Hopefully we'll, some of the stuff I told you guys, we're going to make some changes to allow some of these things to happen. We're still making those changes. Okay. Okay. So that's what we got going on. Now, what I want to talk about next is the end game. All right. And this is going to be its own webinar. We're going to have a webinar on Monday called ENDGAME. All right, named after the movie and after the premise that this is where we're headed. So you guys have heard me talk about what we're doing on the front end of Karbon, right? What's going to be happening on the front end of Karbon? Who here's heard me talk about like, oh, we're going to have a trader on the front end and people will be able to come in and take trades and so on and so forth. You guys recall this? Let me see who's, yeah, let's see who's like paying attention to that stuff. And I also said things like, hey, we're going to have our own liquidity pool and our own swap and all these different DeFi things you'll be able to do. Well, what we've got going on, all right, let me go grab something for you. All right, I'm going to show you guys some kind of things that we haven't shown yet to anybody here in a second. But I want you to imagine this. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute just so I can pop out. So imagine this. The software that we've been working on this entire time, all right, we've been working on, Karbon for the last, how long? How long has it been? A year and a half, It's, what are we in June? Almost a year and a half, right? We've been working on this. And it's gone through multiple iterations. And whenever you're building something unique, whenever you're building a software, and we make all these additions, and we separate ourselves from many of the softwares that exist out there, it puts us in a very unique position. And that position is what we are finding ourselves in right now. And that is this. You guys know how many people are out there trading on Bybit, on BitGet, how many people use TradingView itself to take trades or to read charts. They would love to auto trade, right? How many people is that? How many people are using 3 commas? How many people are using some kind of other software to try to patch together a system to automate their trades? Millions, hundreds of millions of people are out there trading, right? That would be in a position, she just is me. So hundreds of millions of people are in a position where they are trading and they're using TradingView and so on and so forth. So what we're about to do is we're taking what we've built thus far, and of course it's kind of a rebuild. We rebuilt the whole thing yet again from the ground floor up, so everything's clean, and we're making the front end version of Karbon. Okay, we're making a front end version of Karbon that you could refer somebody to, and when they come in, they could go ahead and get started very cheaply. Right, they get their first 5 trades for free. They can test it out, right, on the front end, and it's powered by the Karbon coin. Interesting. And for them to go ahead and get one account, just one account, they can connect it and start playing with it and start taking trades on the front end, the Karbon Lite. What they'll be able to do is connect, take trades, get 5 trades up and running, and then after that, they have to go ahead and purchase coins to power their trades. This is what we're going to go through on the next webinar. I'm just abridging it for you. That ability to do that from there gives us the ability to have billing in a very particular way. And what is that way? Well, when you go ahead and you take trades on Bybit, you have fees to open and close trades, right? And those fees adjust based off of what? Your trading volume, how much you're putting into that trade, right? So could you imagine having a front-end platform that anyone can plug into that's using Karbon Coin for every single transaction, and whenever you refer somebody to that, depending on their account size and how much they have in those trades, you get paid appropriately and accordingly because you referred them. Because the fees are attached to how much they have in trades. Pretty crazy, yeah? This is where we're heading, guys. This is where we're going. And that's on the front end. Now that person can then go ahead and upgrade to Karbon Pro. They can go through and upgrade to Elite and so on and so forth. But this is what we're doing. Now on top of that, we have liquidity pools that we're running where somebody can come in and be a part of a liquidity pool and a swap. And you can refer those folks in and you can earn in that pool. That's what we're doing. And it's connected to the wallet. So this entire ecosystem that we're building right now, all right, if I go and share my screen again, just to kind of show you something, right? And I'm trying to save this for Monday, all right, because I kind of want to recap this and get you guys going, get you moving. But someone will be able to come in and they'll be able to swap their coins and they'll be able to provide liquidity and they'll be able to make withdrawals and see their money growing passively as they do that, as they provide liquidity for the platform, for the coin. And they can connect their Karbon wallet to this, their decentralized Karbon AI wallet. Looks like this right here. Okay, you have to connect your wallet to use it. So all of these different components that are inside of crypto are where we're headed. And the really cool thing, right, is this isn't something that's happening in 6 months or a year or anything like that. This is stuff that's going on right now. This is stuff we're starting to make live as we roll it out. And the fun part of all of that is if you're in the shareholder program, let me know if you're in the shareholder. Give me a yes if you're in the shareholder program and you see funds back there. Where do you think that those profits from those coin sales go? A percentage of them go to the shareholders. So we're able to open this up, okay, to the masses, generate people, anyone who wants to go ahead and have automated trading can just seamlessly get started. They can then go ahead and join Pro. You get a commission on that. They can join Elite. You get a commission on that, as long as those 2 programs are open. But on the front end, they're able to make trades and you get paid because you referred them a percentage of what they pay, okay? Now, you don't want to get into the shareholder program, like Danny says, obviously. Yeah, you don't want to, right? You don't want to get into it. But if you are, I just want to kind of step back and explain to you that this is one of the main mechanisms that we're using for that, to make sure that those profits get out to people. Now, also, if you're not in the shareholder program, you are definitely in the profit share program, right? So everybody on this call is affected by this. You know what I mean? Everybody's affected by this. So when we roll this out, we'll talk about this on the next call. Okay. When we talk about the next call, and Santiago, you and I will have to get on a call. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. We'll have to go ahead and once, everyone will be in this profit share program. But one of the things that I'm going to need your help with, right? That I'm going to need your help with when we talk about this, when we look at this stuff, is if you want to speed things up with the shareholder program, then you probably want to refer people. So I have folks that are in the shareholder program, and that program comes from funds, from profits that come into the company. We just recycle them and boom, we push them out. That's what we do, right? So promoting it might help, right? If you're not promoting and I go in your back office and you have 0 people in your organization, you haven't referred anybody, you're not helping, right? Give me a yes if that makes sense, guys. Having said that, I also want to give everyone an easy front end thing, low cost, freemium type model to get people started, because it's easier. It makes it easier on everybody. And coins going, liquidity pools going, you guys are profiting off of every piece of that happens, right? So there we go. It'll be much easier with the front end. That's where we are. Yeah. So that's what we're up to, guys. Scale of 1 to 10. How was this helpful? Did you guys enjoy this? Was it worth it? How are you guys stoked up about Pro, about this next phase we're going into? Yeah. All right. So here's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to get this replay up, but we're also going to have an abridged version of this. Okay. And again, right here, I want to just show this one more time for you guys. Okay. Right here. And make sure, please, once you see this webinar replay out, that you get in front of people with it. Say, hey, you need to go ahead and see this. Let your team members know if you have team members. Okay. And we're going to be working on our end to make sure over the course of this weekend that we have all these things in place. Okay. All this stuff in place. The new MA3 indicator is going to be coming out. You're going to have Pro going, all that stuff. Okay. Yeah. Oh, who was somebody who's up ridiculously late? I'm sorry. So make sure you guys share this webinar replay. I'm going to make it live. And on the webinar replay, it's going to have action steps that people need to take underneath of it. So it'll be a standalone page with a webinar replay, and then action steps on what you need to do, right? To go ahead and get access to the indicators to make sure we can help you out. Just making sure everyone, some of you guys got it. You're like, got it, Kev, and you're on it. And some of you are like, hey, man, I'm kind of new here, or I don't know how to do that, right? So there's going to be bite-sized videos for that as well. Okay, but this is where we're headed. And then next week on Monday, we'll hop on and we're going to go through a webinar. It's going to be called the ENDGAME. We're going to be talking about that. All right, about the ENDGAME, and yeah, we're going to crush it. Okay. Will stock trades take losses after the upgrade? Yeah. So trades on MA3 indicators, guys, on these indicators, they just take a loss. If they lose, they lose. If they win, they win. But you don't get stuck in trades. Right? That's the whole point. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that too. If you're stuck in stage 4, 5, 6 trades, those stages, depending on who you are or what capital you have access to, depends on what options you have, right? But I'm very wary to give advice on that stuff anymore. Okay. So here we go. All right, guys, appreciate you guys. We'll do a longer Q&A on the next one. We'll probably go we'll do the ENDGAME one, and then we'll just do Q&A for like an hour or so. I've got another call to get on, or else I'd stick around, and we got to get some stuff out. But I appreciate you guys, and yeah, let's crush it out. All right, guys. Night, everybody. Appreciate you, and let's get it done. All right.